Hello, welcome once again to Lehto's Law. I'm Steve Lehto. Just got back from Geneva, New York, where I had a great time being a guest disc jockey at WLLW. I will do a video about the wonderful place. But today I got to tell you, big news happened yesterday, and I got to sit down and talk to you about it right away because a judge I've spoken about before got justice. Michigan Supreme Court removes Livingston judge Teresa Brennan from office. She's been kicked off the bench. And I have to tell you, I've been in front of her before. And you won't hear me complaining about this one. This is out of the Detroit News. Livingston County Judge Teresa Brennan, who faces criminal charges and allegations of ethics violations, was removed from office Friday by the Michigan Supreme Court. And there are many of us who say it's about time. The court issued its unanimous decision just 9 days after justices heard arguments on the case, which is pretty fast for the Supreme Court of Michigan. The Michigan Judicial Tenure Commission had recommended that she be removed. The justices sided with the commission, and the commission had issued findings saying that Brennan failed to disclose relationships with a state police detective and an attorney who appeared before her, tampered with evidence in her divorce case, lied under oath, was persistently impatient, undignified, and discourteous, and I was a witness to that. I didn't testify in her case, but every time I was in a courtroom, I assure you, I saw her being impatient, undignified, and discourteous. She was one of the worst judges I ever appeared before. I've said this before, and I'll put a link to the video below. She's one of the judges who made it so I would not take cases in her entire judicial district because we wound up in front of her. I had to tell my clients, I don't know what's going to happen. We have a bad judge. So it's better just to not do that at all. The cumulative effect of respondents' misconduct convinces this court that she should not remain in judicial office, the ruling said. Therefore, we remove respondent from office and conditionally suspend her without pay for a period of 6 years. And that suspension becomes effective only if respondent regains judicial office during that period. Her attorney did not immediately respond to a phone call seeking comment on Friday. Earlier this year, and I talked about this before, after a lengthy investigation and hearing process, the Judicial Tenure Commission said that Brennan should be removed from the bench and pay roughly $35,000 in costs and expenses for making misleading statements to the Judicial Tenure Commission. She filed a petition to reject that ruling, and the Michigan Supreme Court, which in February had suspended her but said she could continue to receive her salary, then agreed to hear these arguments for and against her removal. By the way, her salary was $143,844 a year plus benefits. During the hearing last week, her attorney disputed many of the allegations against her, arguing there wasn't enough proof to support them. The Supreme Court apparently disagrees with you, sir. Brennan was appointed to the 53rd District Court in 2005. She's been accused of having a close relationship with former Michigan State Police investigator Sean Furlong, who was a key witness in the 2013 murder trial of Jerome Kowalski. Prosecutors now have to retry Kowalski because of the previous trial problems. And those convictions against him were vacated because of the scandal. Her attorney has said that Brennan did not have a romantic relationship with Furlong until after the trial, but there's evidence to indicate that that might not be the case. In court filings, he also rejected claims the judge deleted information from an iPhone after her husband filed for divorce and then lied about it during depositions in the case. But of course, there were witnesses who said that's exactly what she did. The attorney then said her husband's business provided service for the phone and he wanted it back. So she chose another from AT&T. And then he says that it was the employee who transferred the data. But again, like I said, witnesses testified otherwise. The attorney also said the judge's staff volunteered or agreed to perform tasks for her that did not interfere with their duties. And again, the Supreme Court disagrees with you, my friend. In December, then Attorney General Bill Schuete's office charged Brennan with perjury, destroying evidence, and misconduct in office. On Wednesday, Genesee County District Judge David Gwynn ordered Brennan to stand trial on the charges. And that's, of course, they have this being done in a different circuit, so there's no conflicts. And that was after a multi-day preliminary examination in which several witnesses testified. Attorney General Dana Nessel, who took over after Schuete, she's in charge of that now. The charges carry up to 15 years in prison. And the preliminary exam, of course, is in Michigan, the process, and many states have these, where you will then be brought into court. You're charged with a crime. They bring you into court, and they hold hearings to see if there's enough hearing to hold you over for trial. If there is, you get bound over. If there's not, then they don't put you on trial. So apparently the circuit court judge, David Gwynn, ordered her to stand trial after the multi-day preliminary exam. There were several witnesses, and the argument is that the judge found that there was, in fact, enough evidence to have her bound over for trial. And if found guilty, not only would she not be a judge anymore, but she could go to prison for up to 15 years. So again, my only personal experience with her was I was in her courtroom a couple times on one case, but I've spoken to other attorneys in front of her before, and they all tell the same thing. She's one of the most rude and discourteous people we've ever met, let alone a judge. Treats everyone before her as if they're peons. You shouldn't be there. Why are you in my courtroom? Is the attitude you get from her. I've seen her actually quizzing people who are in the audience, behind the bar. Who are you? What are you doing here? And at the time, I thought that was very, very strange of her to do that. And I realized, oh, wait a second. She's worried that person's a reporter. And that's what it was. She's worried they're a reporter. So again, I'm saying sarcastically, but my favorite judge has been kicked off the bench, at least for 6 years and maybe longer. So, I don't take joy in when bad things happen to people, unless it's bad things happening to bad people who deserve it. So there you go. Michigan Supreme Court removes Livingston Judge Teresa Brennan from office. Questions or comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.